What's up everyone, and welcome back to video number 4 in my What I Wish I Knew When I Started Lifting series. And so today's topic is that training does not stunt your growth. This is a very widely known myth, I would say. I think it's kind of died down now. Like, I think you'll find that people that are younger, young teenage years, are getting into bodybuilding more and actually training properly at a young age. Whereas when I feel like when I wanted to get into it, it was still sort of this myth around the idea that if you started weight training when you were still growing, that it would stunt your growth, like you would be shorter, or your bones wouldn't grow properly or whatever. But I've come to know that, and probably a lot of you watching this probably already know that it's not true. So I was about 15 or 16 when I wanted to start getting into weight training, and basically I had family and friends and basically everyone I kind of talked to about it. Maybe if I mentioned, oh yeah, I go to the gym occasionally, they would say, oh, that's good that it's only occasionally, because you don't want to go start doing consistent weight training because you'll stunt your growth. I played a few different sports when I was growing up, and for each of those, I think that was kind of why I started going to the gym, I guess. But I never had this idea that, okay, I'm going to start doing a proper training schedule and everything, because everyone kept telling me that it was a bad idea. So I just kind of, when I was 15, 16, I would go to the gym every here and there whenever my friends were going. And maybe sometimes it was once a week, sometimes it was probably once or twice a month. And if I had my time over, that's one thing I would do, is I would start training from that young age, when I was 15 or 16, like actually finding a program, getting on a proper diet, because when you're that age, especially for males, that's your optimal time to grow. That's why people might tell you that you shouldn't be training at that age, because you're still growing. So they think that the most common one, I think, is like squats. They have the idea that you got all this weight on your back. Maybe your legs aren't going to be able to grow because you got this weight on your back or something. And it's like, really? Because you're doing squats for what? Maybe you do 4 sets a week. If you're going to hit legs once a week, let's go ahead and say you do it twice a week. And you do 4 sets each session. So that's 8 sets. You've got a bunch of weight on your back, and so what's that? Maybe 20 minutes. 20 minutes during a week that you've got an extra, added weight on your back. And people think that that's going to stunt your growth. That's just not how it works. Your bones aren't going to stop growing because they have a barbell with some plates on it, for a limited amount of time. Your legs, and because I guess this would be the bones they're talking about, your legs carry your whole body, so they're used to having weight on them. Obviously, I think a main thing to consider would be, I guess you don't want to get, like, when you're 14 or 15, you might not want to do super heavy powerlifting style of training from the get-go. You don't want to, I guess, throw like 150 kilos on your back straight away, but who would do that anyway? When you think about it, all of the best bodybuilders, like guys like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and all of the, the Mr. Olympias and things like that, you look at, for me personally, you're looking at some of the YouTubers that I watch. A lot of them started when they were 14, 15, they got into training and they're fine, this is the main thing that's going to stunt your growth, alright? It's not the weight training, it's your diet. If you're not eating enough, giving your body enough fuel to grow, then that's what's going to stunt your growth. And if you are training, obviously you need to eat even more, and because, you already need to eat a lot as a teenager, in order just to grow normally. If you're training and you're trying to grow muscle, it just gives you scope to eat even more. So that's like a beautiful thing. You can eat more food. You know, you already eat a lot. I'm kind of going on a rant here about food, but you can already eat so much because your metabolism's through the roof, and now you add weight training onto it. You want to get bigger. It's just an excuse to eat more food, and who doesn't love that? I feel like that's the optimal time to grow. Obviously, you can still build muscle later on. Whenever you start training, that's going to be, those first few years are going to be your optimal time to grow, where you're probably going to grow the most if your diet's in check and if you're following a decent training program. But when you're literally still growing, what better time to actually try and grow muscle on top of just general muscle, you know? You're going to build a solid base, or your base for the future then and there anyway. So it just makes sense to train, and I just wish I had done that. If someone told me, if no one had said to me that weight training is bad for you, I think I might have got into it a little bit earlier. I got it stuck in my head definitely by the time I was 16, and I guess if anyone ever asked me, do I train, I said, oh, I just train casually or every now and then because I don't want to stunt my growth. So I had the idea in my head because everyone else was telling me. So it's important for anyone out there that's new to lifting. For those of you that are like 14 or 15 and you want to get into training and you're worried about it stunting your growth, don't be. Just make sure that you are eating a lot of food. If you're continually putting on weight while you're still training, then you're doing it right, I would say. Because some of it might be fat, but the way your metabolism is probably working at that stage, a lot of it, and I mean a lot of it, is going to be muscle. Another thing to think about is the fact that we all play these different sports. In New Zealand it's rugby, in America it's American football. We're getting, you know, these tackles and stuff that are putting a huge amount of force on us, on our bodies. Okay, it's not like a squat, it's not directly on top of you, I suppose, but these are, you know, immense forces that are coming onto us through our sports, through our daily life. Those aren't going to stunt our growth. We're never worried, oh, I can't play this sport or this sport because it's going to stunt my growth. So weight training should be no different. As long as you practice proper form, as long as you eat enough, and as long as you're getting enough sleep and all of that stuff, then weight training while you're young isn't just fine and safe, it is a great idea, in my opinion. Again, you know, this is just my opinion, but take it as you will. So, I hope this video topic was helpful. If you guys are young, I encourage you to go out and get into some weight training if that's what you want to do. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching as always. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.